I've got a lot of other news stuff to post, so that's why I haven't really asked Jim too much, because I was just trying to get connected to this track talk. But I'll get more information when it becomes available. I have backlog at the moment of World Athletics news, plus some updates on the status of the PSC when it comes to COVID, but I won't be able to cover them because, like, I haven't been able to have time to do enough research into those things. But you know, I've got 15, 16 slides of stuff to share today. We're live now. I will just hit the record button. Cool. Okay, so we could perhaps start with the slides then.
Okay, so one moment and good day to everyone. Welcome to Pinoy Athletics Track Talk. One moment. It's really online now. One moment.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that they don't really want to give away much information on the pole vault thing because I think they're saving it for the press con, which I think they're having.
Okay, so we can start the slide, buddy.
Cool. Okay, so we'll start the slides. So yeah, everyone welcome to Track Talk, Tuesday, Pinoy Athletics, hosted by myself, Andrew Perry, and Mr. Una Labara. We're streaming from Australia and Hungary, respectively. So yeah, welcome to Pinoy Athletics Track Talk Tuesday. So our website is www.pinoyathletics.info, a good one to bookmark. And also our Facebook group, which now has exceeded 27,000, heading towards 28,000 followers, facebook.com Pinoy Athletics for our Facebook page. Okay, next. Okay. So we'd like to request a 1 minute moment of silence for the death of 17-year-old football athlete Yana Bautista, who died from COVID virus, and as we'd like to request a 1 minute moment of silence for her and all the other COVID victims. So we will just start a 1 minute moment of silence. Okay, thank you, everybody. We can proceed to the next slide. Okay, so in the news, a question that has eagerly been asked by a lot of people, especially the splashies on Splash Runner, is what will happen with with the COVID for the athletes in the UAAP. We already know that the NCAA has decided with their board to give the NCAA seniors another year, despite being past the eligibility. Now the UAP board has followed suit and has also allowed seniors to have another playing year at university level. down the bottom is a link to the article. I believe it is pinoyathletics.info, season 82 UAP, where there is information following the proceedings regarding regarding various UAAP affairs to do with sport. Okay, next slide. Okay, so some updates with Natalie Ue's performances. Like we had a Zoom webinar with her the other night. Needs 470 meters to qualify for the Olympics. With the secondary qualification that we will discuss in later articles, as a bit more research is needed on this. Right now, as discussed with Natalie, there was a secondary possible qualification. So there are 32 slots for the Olympics in the women's pole vault, and so far 17 of 32 women have jumped over 470, with the cutoff being June 7. That should be June 7, 2021. A bit of a typo. So right now there are 17 women who have jumped over 470. So the next 15 spots go to the next qualified athletes based on their points gained from attending certified IAAF events. April, as discussed, April 6 to November 30 of 2020, the COVID period is considered a non-qualifying period for the Olympics. So any performances achieved in these dates are not actually put towards Olympic qualifying, which is the current day period we're in now. The other concern is that Natalie did jump 4 meters 30 at a meeting in Sandy Morris's backyard. I'm awaiting for the verification from the IAAF and the Asian Athletics Association, because it seems like the IAAF has not listed this performance in their database. So I'm just trying to check if this meet was actually sanctioned by IAAF and USA Track and Field. I'm just awaiting confirmation to see how to proceed. Natalie won her competition at Atlanta at US Track League Meet 3. She won on countback with 4 meters 11 on July the 28th. Now, I've had some requests from members of the media who have been looking for the result on Sunday, and they've honestly said that they will, if I provide them with the result, which I have, that they will cite Pinoy Athletics. So as me and Ernell have been discussing with media, we don't mind, helping media, providing them with information. However, it is important that, that we do get some citation or recognition for, contributing work towards that.
Yes, we mentioned again to our friends, especially in the media, if you will try to ask relevant information or leads towards any athletics news that you like to write, I hope that with due respect to everyone, that please cite Pinoy Athletics one way or another, because that is a very basic journalism tenet, that you cite your source well.
Yeah, usually when I use articles from other newspapers such as the Phil Star or Malaya or Rappler or whoever, what I usually do is I usually quote the first couple of paragraphs, and then basically the full article lead and link goes to the links back to the original author. So that way I'm creating I'm generating traffic for these other newspapers as well as, a journalistic respect.
Yeah, it's very simple journalism ethics. Cite your source. Yes, but you continue.
Yep. Okay. So as stated, I've made inquiries to the head statistician of the Asian Athletics Association regarding the performance of 430 meters to find out what their decision is regarding the the national record. Until then, I'm not going to make any comments in regards to this matter until I have a firm answer from the higher authorities in the IAAF and the Asian Athletics Association before we make any announcements. Okay, next slide. Okay, yeah, so again, this is one of our more popular sections of Philippine track and field called the Legends of Track and Field. You can visit it at, it's quite a long link. I'm not going to read out the whole thing, but you might want to print screen that for future reference. We have all, the famous track and field athletes who have made it to the legendary status through, exceptional and outstanding achievements over the past 100 years. Next slide. And joining the Legends of Track and Field is high jumper Ciriaco Baronda, who, he thrived as a high jumper on the Philippine scene back in the late 50s and during the 1960s. So he was an Olympian. He went to the 1956 Melbourne Olympics and the I think also the 1960 Olympics in Rome. He followed in the footsteps of Simeon Toribio, who we mentioned last week, our 1932 bronze medalist in the high jump, and Andres Franco, the 1951 Asian Games champion in the high jump. Baronda did what Franco was not able to do, and he broke the national record of Toribio that had stood for 30 years. He himself held that Philippine record in the high jump for 23 years, from 1962 to 1985. He was an Asian Games bronze medalist, and in this photo you can see the very different high jump styles they had during the 1950s and 60s. This isn't the Fosbury flop that was invented in the late 60s. This is known as the Western roll. This is how they used to jump in the 50s and 60s, and this style of high jumping was still popular by the Russians up until the mid-70s.
Yeah, so when it was only in the 60s, 70s that Fosbury flop was introduced.
Yeah, it was used earlier than Dick Fosbury, but it wasn't very popular at the time. It was heavily popularized when Dick Fosbury took the Olympic gold using the new style technique and added several centimeters onto the world record. So you can read more about the legendary Ciriaco Baronda at pinoyathletics.info /Ciriaco Baronda. Okay, next slide. Okay, so these are some updates with Philippine track and field, Legends of Track and Field updates. So again, as in that previous slide, I mentioned the evolution of high jump and the different styles that were applied, from the scissors jump to the Eastern cutoff to the Western roll to the modern Fosbury flop. Now you can read more about the history of how high jump evolved at pinoyathletics.info /how the high jump evolved. As well as that, we are considering with our Legends of Track and Field section, with a request from a veteran coach to add a higher level of icon section. Icons, are athletes that had such great impact and such great performances on Philippine track and field that they are more than just legendary status. Maybe every decade we may only have one or two icons, for example, if even one at all. And this is also being considered in the revision of our legend sections. So again, you can be a legend as well by contributing information on Legends of Track and Field. You maybe a relative of a legendary athlete that we featured or one that we may consider featuring, you may have
Mm-hmm. Yes.
uh, uh, uh,
Yes, buddy.
Sorry, I just got lagged there. Yeah, so as I was saying, Instagram.com/pinoyathletics.info. We've started a presence on Instagram, YouTube channel, youtube.com/pinoyathletics. So, yeah, like YouTube and Facebook video sections. You can just grab a coffee or a beverage of your choice and watch like some very enjoyable videos from a variety of track events. Okay, so we'll go to the next slide.
Yes, one moment.
Okay, so some World Athletic updates on the other day. So there was a Claremont back to track meet on the 24th to the 25th of July in the United States. One of the key performances at this meet was by Shawnee Miller of the Bahamas. She ran a 10.1103 in the heats and then a 10.98, which is a legitimate world season lead. Now, Elaine Thompson has ran 10.73 and Sha'Carri Richardson has run 10.79 this year as well, recently in the last few weeks, but those performances were wind assisted. This 10.98 was a legitimate wind allowable performance. Shawnee Miller also has ran at the same competition a world leading 21.98, and in the 400 she has also leads that event as well. Now, the interesting thing with these athletes is, like, you know, while Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price is on the shorter side at 5 flat, Shawnee Miller is on the other extreme, standing at 6'2". So you can imagine when they race against each other, there'd be a very distinctive, contrasting physical difference in height disparity. But you know, obviously, both the legs are turning over pretty quick. Okay, next slide.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, also at the Claremont back to track meet, there were some very outstanding performances by male track and field athletes, with 3 guys going under 10 seconds. So Traven Brommel, who's the I believe the 2015 world bronze medalist, he hasn't ran like below 10 seconds for about what is it, like 3 years. So he was able to make a comeback running 9.90 in the heats, but didn't participate in the final. We felt he'd done enough in the heats, and he was going to take a bit of a rest up for the next meet. Andre de Grasse, I believe the Olympic silver or bronze medalist in the 100 from Canada. He ran 9.97 and then in the final ran a windy 9.97. I believe it was a plus 2.3 wind. And in the final, it was won by Noah Lyles, more of a 200-meter specialist, who took the 100 meters in 9.93. Lyle's also won the 200 in a season leading 19.94, I believe. Yep. So next slide. Okay, yeah, so this is some stuff regarding some training that I did myself. I did a testing week, clean and jerk, 65, did 2. I didn't go to 67.5 as the bar bounced and it hit my shin on the second rep. So regarding safety, I decided to just move on to the next exercises. I didn't really, the gym was pretty crowded and I didn't have enough space to really safely do cleans. So what happened was it bounced down, hit the squat rack, bounced up the squat rack, grazed me in the shin. No blood, no bruises, but quite a little bit of hair missing off the leg as it sort of scraped it off. So I moved to the deadlift, and I worked my way up to 150 kilos, which was pretty comfortable. I felt like I could have gone to 155 to 160, but I stopped as it saved it for next week's testing. I needed to leave a little bit in the tank. Bench press, I'm not sure really what's going on there. I haven't benched 70 for a while because of COVID, so I did 3 reps on 70, had a break, did another 4 reps on 70. Clearly, it's not my maximum at the moment. I can probably go about 80 kilos, but I don't really want to take the risk at this moment. So with my lifts, I looked at comparing them to my bests, clean and jerk, 15 kilos off at the moment on 65. Deadlifts, 50 kilos off at the moment from about 4 years ago. Bench, I did 70, but it's clearly not my 1RM, so I was 39 kilos off my PB from 9 years ago. So the main thing I want to highlight here is the importance of keeping data on lifting for athletes. So the fact is that I have good estimations of what my 1RMs are now. That means that when I prepare my program for the next 3 weeks to go for another testing in the 4th week or 4 weeks time from now, I know to aim slightly above what my current 1RMs are, maybe a 3 to 5% gain. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to deadlift 200 in a month, so I was looking more at about 167, clean and jerk 65, maybe 70 or 67.5, 70, and then bench press I should be able to go 80 to 85. So just being realistic. That's why I feel that it's very important and it's very overlooked in the Philippines that athletes are not really, they're going into the gym, they're going to the gym and just doing whatever's in the gym and not actually planning distinctively and recording what they're doing. So then that way, you have no idea, because weight training is about gradual adaptation. It's about tricking your body into getting a little bit stronger each time. If, you have no idea what you're lifting and have no idea what the purpose is of what you're lifting, then you won't, you won't really get as good results, and you'll probably put in a lot more effort than you need to, rather than having a quality, developmental type of weight workout. Okay, so next slide. Okay, so I have one athlete here who I'm going to play a video of that I'm working with. He's based in the US. He's a 17-year-old. He did his last power clean testing in Jan to Feb, and he cleaned 165 pounds or 75 kilos. He's been working with me for a month. I've been helping him over the internet with his power clean technique. He has now moved up to gaining 10-pound PB of 79, now 79.5 kilos with 1 month training. I've worked with him for a month. I'll play that video in a moment. So these are the things that he tried 185 pounds, which would have been a 20-pound or a 9-kilo PB from when he started with me, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make the lift. So these are the things that I feel that he needs to work on. The first thing is consistency at lighter reps. He needs to be able to easily lift 165 to 175 pounds for 3 reps with no failures. before he can go to 185 pounds. He needs a slight increase in his front squat from 245 to 255 pounds. That would give him 30 kilo additional leeway on what he's actually trying to clean. His deadlift is sufficient at 140 kilos to 185 pounds to clean 185 pounds. I mean, he's deadlifting 100 pounds more than what he's aiming to lift. But I also suggested that, with high pulls, you should be able, a high pull movement, which is just the pull portion of the power clean without racking the bar. He should be able to high pull more than he can clean. So I suggested that, he cleans 165 times 3, 175 times 3, 175 times 3 high pull, 185 times 3 high pull, 195 times 2 high pull, and then a 200 pound high pull. Because, I mean, if he can high pull more than what he's aiming to clean comfortably, then he'll be able to get the clean part, because the front squat should be able to support, what he's able to clean. If you could just quickly play the video, it's like a back view of his current power clean technique, which has greatly improved as he's now very stable on the catch and on the lift, due to pulling the bar higher, as I suggested. Yep. So if I could get you to just quickly play that video, if it plays. Yep. So, okay.
We have a question on Facebook now. Jaime Cabalan, may I clarify us how the rules of vertical jump evolved? Because in one of the local competitions I have witnessed, an athlete was allowed to jump like he is diving on a pool facing the bar.
What event is he referring to?
I think it's high jump.
So, like the usual with high jump, the usual early, it depends how old the athlete is. Because at first, for my understanding, but we'd probably have to get somebody on board like Sean Guevara or somebody who knows a little bit more about high jump coaching. But from my experience with high jump, usually they're taught how to scissor jump first, and then they get taught how to Fosbury flop once they get a bit older. But diving over the bar, they're probably trying to imitate an Eastern cutoff or Western roll, which, it's not the Fosbury flop, in my view, is the most effective high jump method if you're actually looking at being able to jump higher compared to diving over the bar. I think that what level was this meet?
I have no idea. It's just only was put on the question. Yeah.
I don't think it's right, but I wouldn't blame the athlete, because obviously, I'd have to see what he actually means, and also, I can't really blame the athlete. It depends on how they're coached, but I wouldn't think that would be correct. Usually, you teach a younger athlete how to scissor jump first. If we're talking a beginner. If it's a younger athlete, it's more acceptable. If it's an older athlete, like diving over the bar, then obviously something needs to be addressed with the coaching of the athlete. But if it's a younger athlete, like say 12 or 10 or 11, maybe they're not even coached at the moment, so they might not have any idea. I don't know what the situation is, but on my limited amount of high jumping, again, I'm not a high jump coach, I think that they should learn how to scissors first at a lower height, and then adjust, with a good high jump coach to the Fosbury flop. Okay, if we could just quickly play that video. Were there any other questions, or was that okay? So yeah, this is the video of Ronald doing the power clean. He's improved it quite a bit, because boom, straight under the bar, legs come up, racks the bar, good execution there. So he was very happy, that he's gone up 10 pounds in a month, and in terms of his clean, and we hope to, he can probably hit 185 pounds in another month with the coaching guidelines I've specified there. Okay, so next slide. So yeah, I'm just sharing some coaching stuff because I'm, hoping that it will be of benefit to some coaches over there in the Philippines, or even, anywhere really. So last week the athletes did 2 sets of 3 200s. This week it increased to 2 sets of 3 250s. So again, this is not a fast workout. It's a conditioning workout, about striding pace, 80 to 85% of their target time. Like when I say target time, I mean, say for example, if the athlete runs 23 in the 200 and they want to run, they would be going off 80 to 85% of 22.7 or 22.8, not 80 to 85% of 23 flat, because otherwise they might do all the training and they might end up running the same time. So they have to raise the bar a little bit higher towards their target time and work 80 to 85% of the target time, not off the current best time. And of course, you don't overexert on your first run in the first set, otherwise you won't be able to finish the workout. A lot of athletes have not been able to finish this workout. On this occasion, 2 of the 3 athletes finished 5 reps. They didn't quite make it to the 6, but that's a good effort because usually athletes only do 4 reps. And the other athlete I think that was the first time I've ever had an athlete finish all 6 reps. So he did extremely well. 3 minutes set rest between reps, 8-minute rest between sets. Stick to your rests. Don't take longer, because otherwise you'll end up running, quicker with longer recoveries, which isn't the point of the workout. Track ovals are good. Grass ovals are probably better because this isn't a fast session. If neither is available, then just use the road. Use rubber shoes, because if you put spikes on, the tendency is to go quicker than 80 to 85%, which is not what we're after. Record your times, and then next week we're going to be upping it to 2 sets of 3 300s, and that's as far as I go for base work for 100-meter guys. Okay, so next slide.
Okay, moment.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the data where, again, data keeping and training is very important. So yeah, with the athletes I work with, Terence, he was able to finish all 6. He didn't quite hit the target time, but, I don't think I've had anyone who's hit that target time yet. I had another athlete who got similar average times. He went to Adamson. He worked with the coach there, who's a very good coach, did a good job there. And the guy ran an 11.0 to 11.1. He improved his PB by about 0.2. Doing this as his foundation work. This is at my general phase training to get the athletes into condition. The other 2 athletes did not finish the workout. They did 5 reps. Ronald, honestly, he pulled up a little bit. His hamstring was a little bit achy on number 5, so he did the right thing and rested. And in that video in the gym afterwards, he's been able to pull up and do the other sessions really well, due to the fact that he was sensible and he didn't overexert. Jaspy, a guy that I'm working with from Cavite, he was running them a bit slower in 41s, and I thought, that's a bit slow. Why is he running 41s? But then when he showed me the photos, he's running on the road. It's not so much he's running on the road. Some of the road's actually uphill. So I'm thinking, oh yeah, that's all right, because he's not running flat. It's slower when you run uphill. So he got the workout done. He was running a bit uphill, and I said, okay, yeah, that's fine. I mean, it's it's still doing the work. He's running a little bit uphill, which is a bit more challenging. So yeah, I took that into consideration as well. So yeah, to join our training group for sprinters, this is our or middle distance runners, this is our email, pinoyathletics@gmail.com. We do have some guidelines and some ethics in place when it comes to athletes that already have coaches. I mean, we'd rather, if we're going to work with athletes who have coaches already, we actually would like the coach to contact us, not the athlete, because we think it's really unethical if we start working with athletes that already have coaches. I mean, in my case here, these two athletes did not have a coach, and the other athlete below, I've already talked to his coach and he's fine with it. So, and I have another athlete who runs middle distance, who I've already had a talk with his coach, and we have a mutual agreement on that. So I think that if you're going to work with athletes and if they've already got coaches, the best thing is that you talk with the coach to make a mutual arrangement in terms of that, so nobody gets like too upset from you stepping on their toes as a coach and disrespecting their authority as a coach.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to the next slide. Okay, yeah, so this is a video of the three boys doing their runs. One's using road and the others are using track oval. The thing I want to note here is that, even if you don't have a track oval, so my athlete's here doing the work. What's your excuse in the new normal for not? So here he's got a slight uphill road, which I was talking about before, where he's running his 250s. He needs to work on his back kick a bit, fixing that up. He's back kicking a bit too much. He needs to work on cycling better, which we will address. I've already had to talk to him about it, but he has a slight uphill road here that he's on, so it's not entirely flat. It's a slight incline. Not too hilly, but not extremely flat. So that was Jaspy's run, and we'll progress through to, this is one of the two Phil-American athletes I'm working with. I think this is Terence. He's running some 250s. It's a bit blurred. Obviously, the guys are able to camera what they're doing, which is extremely helpful to me. I mean, they've got better videos than this one. This is like it's very difficult to camera something which involves running around most of the track. But as I said, Terence, he was able to finish all 6 reps, which no one in my groups have. And I think this is Ronald running 250, the guy lifting the weights before. I mean, I've got better videos than this posted up on YouTube or Facebook video, a bit more clearer than this. It's unfortunately, because the video is a bit stretched to fit full screen, quality isn't that good, and you really can't see too much. But I think that it's important as a coach that we acknowledge our athletes, for working even, rain or shine. And at the moment with the COVID, it's definitely pouring with rain right now in terms of the obstacles that the athletes are facing. But at the same time, I feel that the athletes should be able to do what they need to do in order to, get to where they want to go. I mean, imagine if you don't train for ages and you're just doing nothing, you're going to really lose a lot of fitness and, like endurance and all that sort of stuff. And you're going to end up really being going back to zero when you start training again, rather than sort of like maintaining some fitness levels and, going back into training. And as Ernell said, which you may like to discuss a little bit more, is, like I've said, what is your excuse in the new normal? Look, some athletes have track ovals, real athletes find ways. They don't make excuses. There's track ovals, no track oval. You can run on the road. No running on the road. You can do home workouts. Look at, for example, the video of Catherine Santos. She's 30 years old and she's got a child and she's still doing home workouts. I mean, if someone in that situation can do home workouts, then why, can't younger people do home workouts?
Yeah, exactly, buddy. That's why, again, to our viewers, it's not an excuse that you cannot train as long as you have, like, even at the comforts of your own room, just move your furnitures, you can still do the training thing. I also want to also highlight those people who are always thinking that when they reach the age of 18, that their career is over. Ladies and gentlemen, especially those who are young athletes, actually the peak of your career starts in 20 to 23 up to 25. It's just
Yeah.
only that because you're already fix your minds towards palaro, unfortunately, because you're always thinking the golden calf of all the competitions in the Philippines. So that's why you think very quite narrow. Ladies and gentlemen, especially our young athletes, the actual athletic success takes a lot of time, and then it may last even up to after university. In Germany, especially with Rudiger's athletes, they are ranging from 23 to 25, and to 20 are competing still at 30. So I don't see any reason why you will stop training and while you stop competing. Besides, there are other independent athletics competition in the Philippines, especially before COVID-19, that you can participate in, and that's why I want to challenge as well our our younger athletes to think on the long term and not always fix your sights only towards palaro and other meets.
I'd like to add to that. The first thing is, yeah, that's right. So with athletes, once you get to 18 years of age, it's not the time to basically think, oh yeah, I'm 18, I did well at the Polaro, I have a UAAP, NCAA scholarship or whatever. I can sit back and sort of relax now and just focus on studies and not continue to improve as an athlete. It's very common, that situation, but that's my first point. My second point is this. Yeah, like Ernell says, 20 to 23 is the good development age, and 25 is the peak. That's for sprints. But like if we look at other events, middle and long and throws, throwers, late 20s, early 30s prime, even mid up to mid 30s. Middle distance runners usually late 20s. Longer distance runners usually late 20s to 30s. But yeah, with power events like jumps and sprints and jumps and sprints and hurdles, yeah, 25 usually prime age, 25 to 28, and with in some cases in pole vault, for example, or some of the jumps, the athletes can even prime in their 30s. So at 18, you are far from done with where you can go in athletics if you are willing to remain focused and not sort of sit back in terms of your training and your passion for the sport. Okay, do we have any more slides there now? I think we still have some more slides. Okay, I think Ernell's seems to have been logged off, but he should be back shortly. He's back. Hey, Ernell?
Yes, I'm here now. Okay, buddy. Yes,
Yep.
sorry.
Would you like to add any more to what I just said?
Yeah, I think that's I always mentioned earlier that that most athletes should always think on the longer run, and don't see that once they have the scholarship that they will try to lax on their performance.
Yeah.
Uh, mhm. Because I
Can,
think most of them are always thinking that, of course, when they have their education, which is good, but of course, the thing is, if you really want to succeed in athletics, you should not always your you should not leave your things behind, because of course it's not only when you reach 18 to 20s that you will have the time of your life. You will still have like 25 to 30s in order to succeed. As we mentioned, Catherine K. Santos on her 30s is still training, and I hope that I'm feeling, of course, of course I'm feeling that perhaps come back, or I don't know.
yeah. Okay. Okay. Do we have any more of the slides? I think there's a couple more slides to still
One
get
moment.
through. I made sure I had more than what I needed because I knew that we did start a bit later, but I know that I could fill the hour with information, and I had more
Already,
information that I had
done.
to withhold.
I think it's
Yeah.
done.
skip the video. Is there anything after the video, or was that
Nothing,
it? I think
not anymore.
that was it. Okay, I've sent you some details on the pole vault competition. I mean, I sent you via Facebook a picture for the promo for the Facebook competition. Is there any way we can share that image?
One moment.
Yeah. See if you could share the image. I'll highlight some information that Jim gave us on that competition.
One moment. Just my computer is
Press on
starting to.
earlier because according to Jim, the competition is on August the 17th. So this is a virtual competition featuring our very own Ernest John Obiena of the Philippines, the only track and field athlete qualified as of now for the Philippines in athletics for the 2021 Tokyo Olympic Games.
I think it's not okay.
Is it sharing the image, or it's like just
One
a
moment.
JPEG?
One moment. I will try to copy the image and then put it on a slide.
Okay. So yeah, I guess it doesn't allow images to be shared. It has to be slides, right?
Yeah, one moment. Because if it's on Facebook, then yeah, one moment. Okay.
I think there was another slide, Ernell, with that in that thing I sent you. I think there is another slide.
Yeah, one moment.
There's another slide at the end. It's got like a sort of summary or something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just having a quick. Yeah. So yeah, with the previous set of slides, there is one more slide at the end.
Yeah, that's one.
There we go. Yeah, that's the one. Okay. Yeah, so like again, with regards to what myself and Ernell said about home workouts and other bits of info, are you prepared for the new normal? What's your excuse? We will just keep reiterating that because, splashies, we're hoping that, more of them start posting their own, workout videos. So Splash Runners is like, a demographic group on Facebook for track and field athletes, most of them under the age of 20. We're hoping that they will start posting more home workout videos to encourage each other to continue training. Some other bits of info that I don't have enough research into, but we'll be covering at some point. So the PSC has met with leaders of sports NSAs to talk about their contingency plan for the return to COVID-19. I'm going to be doing some more work on my UAP evaluation of each event in athletics, like which ranks all the schools from, best to worst in terms of their performances over the last 5 years in those events. I have Vietnamese marathon results coming through. And yeah, as said, there's been an information overload and nosebleed, if you like. And we'll be having our next session on Thursday for more news and info on pinoyathletics.info. So now we will just discuss the pole vault competition on August the 17th, which has just kindly been provided to me.
Yes.
So if we could just have that slide for the pole vault.
Okay.
So yeah, our very own Ernest John Obiena from the Philippines, the only Olympic qualifier in Philippine track and field for 2021 Olympics, will be having a virtual competition on August the 17th. EJ, Matt Ludwig, and Paweł Łączewski, I think, of Poland, and maybe even top world athlete, I believe he's the world champ, Thiago Breas of Brazil, who's EJ spends a lot of time with, and he's the training partner of EJ. All are going to Tokyo, and all have won major championships. So, looks like it's going to be like an interesting four-way dance, with a very high possibility that this will be live streamed by Pinoy Athletics. We definitely have the capacity to do it, to live stream this, and we're looking forward to working with the organisers and providing this video coverage to the athletic community. A lot of people very closely following EJ's progression. So, Ernell, do you know what happened? What happened to the Monaco Diamond League? Did that get cancelled, or is it still pushing through?
I have no idea if it's cancelled or not. I haven't seen yet when if there will be some changes on the event. But at least on August 9, August 26, I was only informed a few days ago that the Hungarian University Athletics Championships will take place on August 26, like their qualifier. Although it's every year for University, but at least every year they organize this Hungarian University Athletics Championships. And that's what I'm going to mention, that I hope that after COVID-19, all our leagues will in the university, whether UAP, NCAA, ALCU, NAASCU, etc., should really come up with a plan that we should have a synchronized calendar of our, so that we can really plan ahead what would be the competitions, etc., and then we can work together. It's not we have different organizations, but I think it's about time that we should really come up with a one inter-university games aside from what is we have existing right now, so that we can really have we have the PRISA, we have the UAP, the SWAA, etc. But at least it would be good that we can have like something like this in the near future, the University Athletics Championships.
Yeah, so definitely there's the need for more structure in terms of the way athletics is done, to really nationalize it rather than centralizing the system. I mean, in the United States, they have a centralized system, which is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I think that's all I have for today. It's been a good hour. Do we have any shout outs or any questions, or do you want to add a bit more to the discussion?
Not much, buddy. Yeah, I think that we're all good now. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll just check if there's any questions and maybe make some shout outs, and we'll just wrap it up.
We would like to shout out the people who joined us. Hi, Kabalan, Albert De Lima, of course, former Milo Marathon Queen, Joan Banayag, Professor Darwin Tuliao of Cagayan State University, Tuguegarao City. Thank you for joining us afternoon, and also others.
Yep.
Could you check who's the other, because I think my screen is freezing right now.
Oh, okay. Check on Facebook. Okay. I'll just check. I just need to know.
As well.
On
Okay.
Zoom or?
Yes. Yes, Jaime Cabalan, Joan Banayag, and Albert De Lima. Of course, Coach Tax Avellano of Toyota Davao. Thank you for joining us,
Yep.
Coach Tax.
Some other people who liked the post. Philippine record holder in the long jump, Henry Claridad Dagmil, Beverly Nietes, Gian Albert De Lima, and Mod Asmi, I think, of Malaysia.
Yes.
Yep. Okay, all good, I think.
Okay, so that would be good, you know?
Yep. Do you want to add some more, or do you want to wrap this up, or?
I think that would be all because I'm also waiting for.
No, that's all good.
Also, actually,
Yeah. Yeah, it seems that your connection sort of beginning to sort of ruffle a bit, so we might just wrap it up here. Yeah, so again, thank you everybody for joining us today for another edition of Pinoy Athletics Track Talk. Tune in. We will be back on Thursday for another round of news and athletic updates. Again, thank you. Hosted by myself, Andrew Perry, and Mr. Nel Habara, Professor. Thank you, and bye now.
yes, good day.